So, Jeremy, it's a pleasure to have this opportunity of meeting you and to be able to congratulate you on winning this year's hot topic based on UN Sustainable Development Goals with your case, Barnana Adventures in Upcycling. Congratulations on writing a terrific case. Perhaps you could start by setting the scene a little bit and just telling us what the case is about.
Well, this is about a young entrepreneur that was from Brazil originally, but came to California really to be a triathlete and wanted to try to find some healthy snacks and, in particular, things that would give him energy for his races, etc. He remembered a dried banana snack that they often had in Brazil that we didn't have here, more of like a raisin equivalent of a banana, not a totally dried chip or something like that. And he decided to launch it. And in finding sources for that banana in South America, he saw the fields where they were harvesting bananas, and that there were bananas that you and I would think were the kind of green bananas that they want to ship to the United States or European countries or non-banana growing countries. But because they had just gotten a teeny bit too quote unquote yellow, they couldn't make the transit economically. So he thought that'd be a great opportunity to take those, process them in country, upcycle them, and create the snack out of those. And that's really where it fell within the UN Sustainable Development Goals, because it was very responsible on the food side, but also providing a secondary income to a lot of these farmers that otherwise this would have been, I don't know, compost or pig feed.
So, what was it that attracted your attention about the scenario and led you to have the idea of writing the case?
Well, Kawe Suplisi, who is the case protagonist and that young entrepreneur, he was actually a fill-in speaker for a class that I was teaching 5 or 6 years ago, where the speaker I had scheduled, I think it was that day, could not make it, and emailed me about that. And as a professor, I kind of went, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. I'm replacing a speaker day of. But when I quickly saw what Kawe's company was about and was able to brief him, I said, this is even way up my alley more than what the other speaker could have talked about. And immediately from our first meeting, I told him that we should have a case on his company, that it would be something that would be timely in the interests of students with their environmental goals. And in particular, upcycling was, at the time he was speaking in my class, something that people didn't really know about as a big issue. I think over the last 5 or 6 years, the food industry's impact, and particularly wastage throughout the supply chain, has become much more prevalent and known. So when the challenge came around from you guys, I finally had the excuse to really put the pressure on, and it was during COVID, so he and his team didn't have anything better to do. They might as well talk to me about the case.
Oh, perfect timing. I'm glad that our category title and the invitation to enter really resulted in something so good.
It all came together as well because I had just proposed a course at USC, which over the last few years has had a big environmental push. And this was a course, green entrepreneurship. So I said, I'm a case developer, I'm a case program head. I better come up with some new content for this class. And this was the new piece of content we created for the launch version of the course.
It's terrific to know that cases can be agents of change as well, and really support change within the school as well, on this green initiative that you and the school have been working on. How did you actually go about writing the case?
This one was different than most. Where most, I think I might know 25% of the story, and then you uncover more. You just know enough of the nuggets to think that there is a there. This one, I had known Kawe for about 5 or 6 years. I had him as a speaker probably 7 or 8 times across different programs and in different classes. Probably knew 75% of the story. So it was a bit different in that regard. I did however, still, conduct the interviews and get all the quotes again. Probably did 10 to 12 hours in total of interviews with the company. A big part of my process is doing a really, really detailed outline. I probably spend a full, day, or, 2 half days or 3 half days just outlining. And I might have a 6-page outline for what eventually becomes about a 9 or 10-page case in the format that was submitted to you. The current version has expanded a little bit, but probably invested 14, 15 hours in outlining before even writing, and making sure some of the maybe controversial quotes are right there in the outline, which I then send to the company. And I would say that that was kind of the key here. I like to have some clever storytelling elements. Usually I snack on some of their new stuff when I go to their offices, which I visited a few times. We couldn't do that during COVID, but I almost wanted to allude to that. So we have a test kitchen scene where they're snacking on potential new products that kind of give you clues about some of the dilemmas in the case.
What kind of level is the case pitched at? Do you see it working better at undergraduate or MBA or executive education?
It debuted for undergraduates, I would say, in the green entrepreneurship course. So I'd say it's good for that. But these were pretty sophisticated undergraduates as well that had, since it was the launch year of a course, kind of a pent-up demand for doing something like this. It really doesn't have analytics per se that are out of anyone's reach. It is, I think, something that can give people at all levels a real lay of the land to some of the hidden costs and opportunities of environmentalism and environmental entrepreneurship and business. I think people kind of know some categories like electric cars and some of the other categories in their life very well. But something like upcycling, which is so far away from them in the value chain, it really opens everyone's eyes to the promise of that. And I think another part of the case that I'm proud of, it opened people's eyes to the economics of, in this instance, the rural producers at the local level, and the way that through some pretty simple things, and this is the goal of the UN Sustainable Development, you can add 30%, 50%, 100% onto an income that companies and we as consumers can engage productively to help out in that.
How do you feel about winning this award? What's it brought for you?
I mean, it's brought some heft, that's for darn sure. I mean, you guys must have had to mine a lot of iron for this one, because it is a heavy award. But very psyched to receive this. It's a beautiful award. When I get back into my office, I really look forward to putting this on the shelf. But was psyched that this is the first time I ever entered a case writing competition, and was very pleased with that. But mostly for our program, which you were one of our first partners, or you were actually our first partner distribution-wise. And we started this up going for global distribution 7 or 8 years ago. Where in the next year, I'm hoping we'll hit 100 cases, but still a relatively small collection. So it's good. We're getting some momentum. I hope we keep trying to do world-class work. We're covering almost all entrepreneurial and innovation stories, but we hope to punch above our weight by concentrating on that area and really doing some cool stuff. And whether it's winning awards or just having impact, I love seeing those new classroom adoptions on the reports, and seeing it cases appear in different countries around the world. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. And it's a way that we as educators can have quick impact on a lot of classrooms around the world.
Thanks again for this opportunity and for opening up so much about what's gone on behind the scenes and putting it together and sharing your insight. Congratulations again on winning the award. It's a terrific case.
Appreciate it. Thank you to you and the team.